Morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And welcome to Youth Wednesdays on the Tobago Updates morning show. We're joining you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. You know, it's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, and we're here to give you that youthful vibe, to spice up your Thursday and Friday. My name is Kaylee Lewis.
And I am Dwayne Nils. Good morning and welcome to Youth Wednesdays. As you know, it's always a pleasure to be here with fellow youths to, bring that midweek vibe. We are having quite a bit of our weather, inclement weather thus far, but we are here nonetheless to give you the best of the best. And this morning I'm also joined with.
Good morning, everyone. I am Natalia Nancis. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning, Kaylee. Also joining the team this morning to bring you that youthful vibe, that youthful vigor, according to Kaylee. According to Dwayne, we are having great weather. I would say great, Dwayne. How are you?
I wouldn't say great because I'm not in the right place to enjoy the weather. But we are here nonetheless.
I feel like the weather is giving us that Christmas vibe, that Christmas spirit. Anybody else is feeling Christmassy? No. I feel very Christmassy.
I am.
I've been looking at Christmas movies, listening to Christmas music, parang, everything like that. But I am definitely in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, exactly. I began watching Home Alone. I think I tried to finish one movie last night, but I just couldn't make. But yeah,
what is your favorite Christmas movie, though?
I have so many. Home Alone, This Christmas with Chris Brown.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah.
What about you, Natalia?
I would say Home Alone as well. Home Alone 3, specifically.
So basic. Well, Home Alone is a nice Christmas movie. Yeah.
What is your favorite?
I have way too many. I like Polar Express. I also like...
Polar Express, that's the animated little black girl. Yeah, that's
a very famous meme. Yeah.
That's a nice one.
Yeah, that's a really nice Christmas movie.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to head over to Natalia for news in 90 seconds. And news this morning is sponsored by B-Mobile.
Thank you, Dwayne and Kaylee. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Wednesday, 8th November 2023. The Minority Council is calling for clarification on why Signal Hill Secondary School students did not receive funding to participate in the Sandfest competition finals. According to information circulating on social media, the Division of Education, Research and Technology committed to covering some of the costs to allow the students to take part in the competition in Trinidad. The students gathered at the port on Tuesday evening, hoping to board the ferry to Trinidad, but were then informed by a teacher that the funding did not come through for the trip. The teacher indicated that the division was missing some documentation from the school before the release of the funds could be authorized. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines expressed concern about the 16% arrest and charge rate for the 663 murders recorded between September 2022 and 2023. He attributed this to the high use of high-powered firearms in recent crimes. Hines detailed government efforts to improve the response to crime, including enhancements for forensic operations and evidence recovery departments. He highlighted the importance of bolstering border security and implementing legislative measures to combat crime. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley clarified that his personal data was not compromised in the cyber attack on TSTT. The report data belongs to a family member, and the information appears to be related to his TT government telephone bill account. He emphasized the importance of safeguarding data from falling into criminal hands, urging TSTT to treat this matter as a national security threat and handle it with professionalism. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez confirmed no credible information about the Prime Minister's data being compromised and assured an independent investigation is ongoing. And that was your news in 90 seconds, sponsored by B-Mobile.
Read of the news. So viewers, we're going to head straight over to our birthdays for this morning. Who do we have on? It's the 8th of November. Whose birthday is it today? So first up, we have Cindy Charles. And Cindy Charles, happy birthday to you with the love coming from this 5B Signal Hill Senior Comprehensive Class of 89.
And next we have Miss Yvonne Greenidge. Good morning and happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. Lovely smile there is. Happy birthday, and I see you got an early present.
Hey, so guys, a long weekend is coming up. Anybody has any plans? I know Dwayne likes to head out.
No, unfortunately not.
Okay.
But Natalia, would you want to give us the rundown this morning?
Okay. Before I give the rundown, however, Kaylee, what are your plans for the weekend?
My plans for the weekend, I think I'll be home sleeping or something. I'm not going to be doing much at all. I have a lot of rest to catch up on.
All right.
So first up on our list, we have Dr. Denise Sawyer-Angus. She's going to be coming and giving the IDA's perspective on the recently concluded Tobago Carnival 2023 edition. Second, we're going to have Miss Desiree Hackett-Murray. She's going to be talking about knowing your numbers. She's a financial life coach. Next, we're going to have Serena Stevens and Keelan Whitlock. They're going to be talking about a fashion show, and this is going to be with Miss Natalia Nancis. Last but not least, to wrap up everything, we're going to be chatting with Liana Alexander about the Tobago Bodywalk 2023. So viewers, we have a lot in store for you this morning. Remember to stay tuned and share the live, share the live, share the live.
So your car break down.
Oh, no, not again.
And you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And this morning we're chatting with Dr. Denise Sawyer-Angus, and she is the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance. Good morning, Dr. Angus.
Good
Happy to have you
morning.
here with us this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, great. So let's start talking about the carnival, the recently concluded Tobago Carnival. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, I have a lot of questions because for me, it's not just numbers on the road. It goes further than that. And if we look at the numbers on the road, and you go to what Caribbean Airlines reported, they actually reported maybe about 1,000 people less than came the previous year. But we're going beyond just heads and heads on beds and heads on road, bodies on the road. I want us to look at, they say 12 million was invested, or just about. Where was that 12 million invested in? What did the people eat? Did they, when they went to the supermarkets might have been full, but did they buy local foods such that our local providers were then urged to provide more products? Or were they buying imported products? The mass, was the mass locally made or was the mass imported? Our music trucks, I understand many of our music trucks in Tobago did not get work. So the music trucks were imported. The musicians, the singers, how many of our Tobago singers actually got work? You saw a lot of Trinidad artists headlining the different activities. So when you look at the whole carnival picture and you ask yourself, where did the 12 million go? Did it stay in Tobago or is it now elsewhere? That's the big question.
Definitely a very thought-provoking question. As we're on the topic of the how the allocation was done, let's chat a little bit about the marketing leading up to the Tobago Carnival itself. We saw that this year they had T-shirts printed with the dates on it to start marketing the Tobago Carnival for next year. But in terms of the marketing for this year's Tobago Carnival, can you share your thoughts on that with us?
Well, marketing was very poor. I think we all agree. The marketing, 2 months before the event, that's when the date was released, that's when mobilization happened. The secretary did not even know what the budget was, a month before the event or a couple of weeks before the event. So it really, the marketing was not well done. Yes? But for me, the people will come because people are excited about this new concept called Tobago Carnival. What I am more concerned about is after we have had that weekend, what are we left with in Tobago? Are we any better off than the few dollars that was spent for the hoteliers, than the few dollars that was spent in the supermarket? What about the true trickle-down effect throughout the society? Did the rest of the society feel the impact on the economy of having a Tobago Carnival event in Tobago? And this is why we have to start going beyond event management to industry production. Because if we are talking about an industry, and we take, for instance, our local market, how do you begin to get those who are coming from elsewhere to start looking at our local products that our local people are producing, which are of very high quality? It's just that people don't know about them and have not experienced them. Can we consider having a Tobago aisle in some of the supermarkets in Trinidad? And there are many other Tobagoans living in Trinidad than living in Tobago. Can we begin there so people begin to experience the products? So by the time they come back next year, they are searching for those products in our supermarkets. Then is when you begin to get the full trickle-down effect. The mass. How are we getting and communicating with our mass people such that they are prepared to put on the mass and to generate the mass product coming out of Tobago, rather than we importing the mass from Trinidad into Tobago? What training programs are going to be put in place to upskill our people and to ensure that they can provide the numbers that are there? What policy will be put in place such that you are getting your locals to partner with others from elsewhere such that you are, you can call it a true Tobago Carnival? How do we ensure that our music trucks are not just sidelined for the whole carnival? That was their experience. After being part of a product in February for so many years, to come where you finally call it a Tobago Carnival and they're excluded totally, that's unheard of.
Yeah, and earlier on we were chatting about Tobagonian soca artists not having that opportunity to headline a lot of the events that took place here on the island. I know one event that the division would have put on was the Soca Titans series, where they would have had, that training with different soca artists and that kind of thing. Do you see something like that, boosting or improving the talents of young Tobagonian artists so that maybe they can be on that level of Trinidadian soca artists, so that maybe one day they can headline shows here on the island?
Listen, we got to be serious about building an industry. And so throwing a few classes just before an event is not going to help us. We are, the Tobago economy right now is really crashing. And we have to start thinking differently. How do we rebuild the economy? We have a number of persons coming out. I think it's 64% of our workforce don't have subjects or any type of certification between 0 to 4 subjects. Why aren't we having a college of the arts where we are actually certifying our calypsonians, our mass people in wire bending and designing and those things, our pan people in not just playing pan, but tuning pan, becoming arrangers, all of that. So you're building an industry around a product such that by the time you are ready to host your event, you're showcasing many of them. And so, we need a school for the cultural arts in Tobago that speaks to really creating excellence in our people, whether it is the kaiso, the soca, the pan, the heritage dances, whatever it is. We are creating a school of the arts. And you will find that over time, we begin to attract people from elsewhere who want to attend the school. And at the end of the day, we know that when we put on an event and you have to sponsor the event, that a lot of the money stays within the coffers of the Tobago economy such that we begin to grow. And we break the backs of this thing we call the failing economy right now, which is quite serious. I don't think we realize how bad it is. And I think it's a disservice that this administration has not said to the people where we are in terms of the economy and be truthful with the people of Tobago. We cannot move ourselves forward as a people if we don't understand the true implications of it. And the people on the ground are feeling it. They feel it, but it's just that they don't know what the impact has been. Where is it coming from? And they need to share with us, and they need to share with us their ideas in terms of how they're taking us out of this.
Okay, and Dr. Angus, we would have recorded an incident-free carnival this year. How do you think that differentiates the Tobago Carnival from other carnivals? Do you think that will encourage persons to continue coming out and supporting the Tobago Carnival?
It's a number of years that, having an incident-free carnival in Tobago is nothing new. When I was the Secretary of Community Development and Culture, we had those days. So it's nothing new in Tobago, and that's the beauty of Tobago, that we have always promoted it as one of the safest places to come and revel. And we used to call it revel and relax in the same moment. And so it's not a new thing. Perhaps it's new in the spate of all the crime that we've been having on the island. And perhaps we need to give kudos to all of those inconvenienced roadblocks that we've been having, because it's an inconvenience to people. But clearly, those roadblocks by the police and licensing office would have contributed to also us having a safe carnival event in Tobago.
Yeah, and before we wrap up, recently we would have seen some things right after the carnival in the news, headlining on some of the media houses, their newspapers, and we've also heard some comments from the president of the National Carnival Commission, Winston Gypsy Peters. Can you give your comments on that as the political leader of the IDA?
Everything is relationship building. I mean, we would like to say that this is the first or second carnival in Tobago, but carnival has been hosted in Tobago for a number of years, over the years, in February. Yeah? So there are pieces to build on from there. I don't know what is the relationship between the two. They seem to be going at each other's throats. But at the end of the day, you have to find ways to work with people, to listen. And if this administration could have gone as far as Grenada to get ideas and support on what a carnival should look like in Tobago, I see no problem with them having a conversation with the NCC to understand, or maybe to hear from them what their perspectives are. And when you're building a product, you have to reach out to all stakeholders and get their feedback as to what they see from their angles, and then you build it. It doesn't mean that you hire NCC to come in here and do a carnival. That's not what it means. But it does not hurt to listen to what they have to say, but especially it is time to call the local stakeholders together, the mass people, the pan people, the Kaiso people, the music truck people, and sit down and have a talk with Tobagonians about where this carnival is going. Because if we don't, then we will always continue to have an event held in Tobago, but not one that sufficiently contributes to the development of Tobago and the enhancement of the Tobago economy.
Okay, well, Dr. Angus, we're actually strapped for time. I want to thank you so much for coming and chatting with us this morning about the recently concluded Tobago Carnival 2023. We hope that sometime soon we can have you back to speak about probably something else, or even continue conversation about
Absolutely.
this. So viewers, we're going to head to a break. We're going to be right back. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Costa. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. It's Youth Wednesdays here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. This morning, we're chatting with Miss Desiree Hackett-Murray, and she is a financial life coach. Good morning, Miss Murray. Happy to have you with us this morning.
Good morning, and indeed, thanks for having me, and I'm happy to be here, joining the Tobago population and the wider community.
No problem at all. So tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Okay, well, I'm Desiree Hackett-Murray, at least by name, and I'm a financial advisor and a certified life coach. I embrace every opportunity to build and increase the financial literacy landscape wherever that may lead me. because I see it as very critical and important in people being able to obtain that financial freedom, that financial independence. So that's in the context of me being a financial advisor as a certified life coach. I seek to empower individuals and bring out their potential, coaching them and working with them step by step to maximize their career potential. So that in a nutshell sums up Desiree Hackett Murray in a professional capacity. Outside of that, in terms of hobbies, I enjoy a good level of exercise, love baking, reading, and meeting people.
We definitely have to have something to take us away from all of those stress that we have to undergo in life. Okay, so your
Indeed.
financial checkup, knowing your numbers. Tell us a little bit about that event. It would have occurred yesterday.
All right. So yesterday I met with the Association of Professional Engineers, the Tobago chapter, and we had quite an interesting and interactive session where I was able to walk them through the critical elements in financial planning. Their numbers, even as it was that financial checkup. Often we realize that even in our natural lives, whether we are willing to go to the doctor or not. Sometimes we are not feeling well, we are aware of all the symptoms, but fearful. It's a similar mindset, a similar approach we have with our finances. We tend not to step back and look at what our positions are. What we need to do when we are considering financial checkup, if at this very moment I should ask you or any of our listeners, what's your financial position? Do you know your income level? And by that, I'm not referring to the amount of money simply that you're working for. Do you have an idea of your debt, the total amount of debt, whether it's your hire purchase, your loan, the friend or the neighbor that you have borrowed from? What's your total debt? What about retirement? What is your retirement? Often we think of retirement in the context of our age, but do you know what is your retirement income? What amount you need to have or know so that when you retire, you can retire rich, which is retiring in comfort and happiness. Then there's the option of knowing your numbers. For especially our young listeners, you're interested in furthering your education or acquiring a particular skill. Do you know what those numbers look like to ensure you're able to get to your end objective? So these were some of the areas I was able to walk that group through and have them better positioned, because when you know these numbers, what it does for you that allow you to make informed choices. And it gives you a big picture in the context of your finances. And when you have that big picture, what it does for you, it guides your spending. It allows you to be able to step back and decide if I should make this purchase, how would it impact my bigger goal? Because I know my retirement number. If I should make this particular spending or incur this additional debt, how would this impact my education plan? In knowing our numbers, I also seek to encourage them to have that umbrella. If four of us walk outside and it begins to rain, the two individuals who may have an umbrella will be well protected. The other two would need to run for shelter. And if they're in an open field, it means that they're going to get soaked. This is where I'm making the analogy to have what we call that fund, rainy day fund, emergency fund. Knowing your numbers would allow you to set aside that amount as well to keep you so that when it rains unexpectedly, when these life situation happens that we did not plan for, we will be well equipped and it would not throw us off our trajectory. It would not throw us off our track and we would not need to dip into our retirement fund because of that emergency. We would not need to dip into the education because of that emergency. And I'm using those two because in knowing your numbers, they are critical figures that you want to have as a dashboard view readily at a finger's notice. You can say, yes, my total income, my disposable that I have to work with to help me achieve all these fancy things, all these well-deserved things that I want. This is the basket of inflow that I'm working with. And knowing that when you are spending, whether it's the grocery, whether it's the new living room set or changing the curtains, Christmas is coming up, your numbers will say to you, do I need it to make this purchase? Or I need to stay focused and ensure that plan, whether it's for your vacation, would not be offset because you make a spontaneous spending.
Okay, Miss Murray, and I believe that this entire financial thing, you know, knowing your numbers, having that regular financial checkup, this is something that should be taught from a very early age. So I know that the event that you would have had was with the Professional Entrepreneurs Association of Trinidad and Tobago. Have you done anything with probably, you know, persons in school, the younger persons, primary school, high school, because we know that these students usually get an allowance to go to school, some of them. So they have to learn to manage their spending, they have to learn to budget and that kind of thing. So tell us about that.
And how do you change the world really? Starting at that age. If we can catch them at preschool, if we can catch them at primary school, if we can catch them at secondary school, then we are well poised to have a more financially literate society, and not only having the literacy, but now taking that to the next level of execution. We have seen many individuals of high income. They are aware of some of these information, but because it's not practice, it's not part of the everyday living, we still suffer financial challenges. We are still highly stressed because of debt. So I have done a few sessions with Gen Zs and millennials. I've done it in a workshop context where I actually walk them through doing preparing a budget. And so it's an area that needs a little more emphasis. I have been as well at some schools, PTA, speaking with parents of the importance of showing the children, modeling good financial planning, because you said it, we give them the allowance. But when we give them the allowance, we miss the educational aspect. And recently I shared with a group two things I would like to have the world know and practice. We want to pass on a legacy. And I challenge everyone listening to me this morning, two legacy to seek to pass on in this context of financial education. Afford your child or your children a sound education. And this does not necessarily mean academics. So let's get that. And financial literacy. Because when you have that skill base and that good education foundation, naturally, you're more inclined to attract a higher income. And then when you have that, what do you do with it? In order for it to be sustainable, in order for you to be able to pass it on in terms of wealth transfer intergenerationally, you need to understand financial literacy. You need to practice good financial management. So if every parent could see that as one of the main legacy that they want to pass on, not only could you say, okay, this is a rich family, but you take it now to a more sustainable level of building and sustaining wealth, because we know education is where the world gets changed.
And Ms. Hackett Murray, if persons want to reach you to access your services, how can they do that?
All right. You can Google search. Thankfully, when you Google search, the first thing comes up in anyone's name once they have a LinkedIn account. You're definitely going to see them. So Google Desiree Hackett Murray, and you'll see my LinkedIn connection. And directly, you can get me via mobile 688 3862. And in terms of the life coach, I'm working on my website. So soon come in a Tobago plan. Soon come website, but 6883862. And as they say, let's connect on LinkedIn, follow me. And I tend to post frequently enough to increase financial literacy.
Great, and I'm sure that since you have shared your contact, persons may not only contact you for financial advice, but probably some of the young persons that we have out there who are into web design, you may receive a phone call for a little assistance. They may be able to assist you in creating your website. So thank you so much for chatting with us this morning, Miss Desiree Hackett Murray, Knowing Your Numbers Financial Checkup. Viewers, before we take a break, we want to...
It is my pleasure.
No problem at all. We want to share with you this short flyer. Improve your comprehension and creative writing skills in record time. Prep 3s, 4s, and 5s, Sundays only. You get to choose your session hours. It's a 3-hour session, and individual attention is going to be focused. Some of the things include qualified, trained, and experienced teachers, 36 years plus, teacher's diploma, child psychology diploma, BSc in education, reading and language major. They have an MED in reading and creative writing, psychology, SEA assistant examiner, creative writing comprehension, first choice teaching, and they have results in the top 100. This person also records excellent results all the time. The flyer is here on the screen for your convenience. Be sure to call 266-5952 or 222-2082 for further information, and be sure to ask for Ingrid. We're going to be back soon. We have more in store for you this morning on the Tobago Updates Morning Show. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
You know, who would I ever believe, Jessica could take care of a child,
I know, right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, you know, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. You're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy a Lamborghini for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up, yes.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy.
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you could get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakay, I'm only going on the bed.
But Mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Costa. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
And we are back here at Tobago Updates Youth Wednesdays. This morning we are joined with Miss Serena Kellis Stevens. She'll be telling us a little bit about her upcoming fashion show. She's very excited to tell us about it. She is young and upcoming, and she is ready to advertise so that the public knows where they can get their newly designed outfits. Yes? Right, so we'll get right into it. Serena, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, right? You're wearing a school uniform, right? What school do you attend for those of us who don't know what the uniform is? How old are you? Were you always into designing? So let's start with what school you attend.
I attend the Harmon School of Seventh-day Adventists. I am 15 years of age. I am Serena Stevens, and my designer's name is known as Atina Sydney Liz. For this fashion show, right, coming up, I wanted to at least showcase everything that I have worked for since last year and all the things that I've learned so far. A little bit about me, I work part-time at my family's business. I also, have a little hobbies like either swimming, diving, and other sporty hobbies because I really like to do like active things, especially sporty things.
So it's a mix between sporty things and fashion designing,
yes,
right? You mentioned that you are 15 years of age, which means that you are in third form of Harmon School of Seventh-day Adventists, right? So you are now balancing your schoolwork and the fashion designing. How is that going for you?
It is actually very It is actually easy to manage it after a while because at the beginning, I really thought that it was difficult. But then after my mom helped me with the time management and how to manage my time, it got easier eventually.
Right, so Mommy has a big part to play in this. Yes, she does. Okay, so we move in directly into it. How did you become involved in the fashion industry?
Okay, so at the age of 10, my mom had bought a machine for me. And she wanted me to just do little things like to learn how to hem or to sew a dress. But to sew a dress, right? She saw that I had like a very deep passion for the fashion and design. So she got on to Keelan Whitlock, which is the person who is the founder of the Keys Studio, or Keys Foundation. And she was very interested in what I can do and my skills. So he got onto me and asked me questions about like what I want to do for a collection. And from there, he, helped me along the way.
So this is Keelan, who is the founder of the Keys Foundation. He's also a fashion designer himself. Yes, he is. So you had a good example to follow. Yes. Who or what was your motivation to join the industry?
My mom was my motivation to join the industry because in her younger days, before she had me, she used to sew for churches and weddings and things like that.
So what I'm hearing is that after this interview, I could go to Mommy and ask for some designs between you and her, so I could get some new stuff. Okay, that's nice to hear.
Although she doesn't do it any longer, because right now she's an accountant, I still would like, for others to realize that she is my motivation to do this designing.
So she is focused on you and your upcoming dreams as a fashion designer. So it's you I have to come to for the new designs. Okay, so I'll check you afterwards, right? Where do you get your inspiration from?
My inspiration comes from my everyday life. So when I'm going to school, when I'm going out, nature itself, people, I get inspired by them.
Okay, so if you go outside and you see birds on a tree, or feathers on a chicken. That's inspiration. All of it?
All of it is inspiration.
All right, that's very nice to hear. So you've completed your first collection and now you're on to your second, yes? So could you tell us a little bit about how you went about the first collection? What was that like?
The first collection was a life lesson for me because I thought that I could do everything on my own. But eventually I realized that this is a team effort and that I need others to help me with the events and the planning and the designing. And why is because when you have that, right, it makes it easier on me because I don't have to pressurize, okay, but who models is this and what I should do for lighting up. That's not my job. My job, right, is to design and let others help me in the industry.
So your focus is on the designing itself.
Yes.
So now you have a team to support you throughout. So I see that we have with us Mr. Keelan Whitlock Jr. He is the founder of the Keys Foundation. Welcome to you, Keelan, and good morning.
Thank you so much. Good morning and thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. So we're going back to Serena, right? Keelan, thank you for sitting in. I heard that you are a very big inspiration to her. You also included her in in the launch of the Keys Foundation. Part of her designs and her items and stuff were featured in the launch, right? So we'll get to that a little bit later on in the interview. Right now, I want Serena to answer a few more questions to me, and then we go on to you. Yes? Yes.
That's fine.
All right, great.
Definitely.
And Serena is waving. Okay. Okay. So, there's a buzz about your first fashion show. This is your first fashion show, second collection. So I want you to tell us some details about that. What could we expect? What kind of pieces do we expect to see? You know, where did some of your inspiration come from for these pieces?
Okay, so the name of this first fashion show is called A New Journey. The reason it's called A New Journey is because this is a new beginning for me in this point in my life, and I would really like to express myself in a different way after I've learned from my first collection. People can expect a lot of creativity as a young person, not only for youth but for older people as well. This show is mostly like a lot of, basically like all types of wears, right? So we have from swimwear to casual wear to event wear, sport wear as well. This is what I really got as my pieces, and my inspiration basically came from nature and people themselves on what they wear on a daily basis.
So we're looking to see vibrant colors from nature and stuff like that. Okay, so I have a question. You are a young person, you are in school, right? Could you tell us your models? Who are your models for the show?
My models are my friends, my church friends, my past teachers as well. They are all my models because they really want to see me strive and want to help me with this.
Right, so now that we are friends, for the third collection,
yes,
I'll be including in that.
Of course.
Oh, great. Great. Look out for me, guys, for the third collection. Okay, where will the show be held, and would it be available to the general public?
The show will be held at the Bell Garden Multi-Purpose Facility. It is open to the public and tickets are on sale as well. Tickets vary from, if you're coming by yourself, it's $300, but if you're coming in groups of 5 people, it is $275.
Okay. Where would these tickets be available? Where can I get my tickets?
Okay, you can get the tickets via the Mansers Enterprises in Cutler Hall, or you can contact 469-4326 to buy the tickets.
Right, and the information will be available on the Tobago Updates page, yes?
Yes.
Right. So, great. So I know where to get my tickets. I know where the fashion show will be held. What day will the fashion show be held?
The fashion show will be held on the 26th of November at 5 p.m.
5 p.m. So it's a night event. I have to dress for the night outdoors. Outdoors or indoors?
Indoors.
Indoors. Okay. Great. So thank you for letting us know about that. So as we wrap up, I want you to finish off and tell us what was the push that brought you into doing this collection itself. I know you had your first collection, now you've learned and grown. What was the push that pushed you into your second collection?
Well, after the last collection, I was really inspired by the motivation everyone gave me. So I was like, Mommy, I was talking to my parents as well, but I went to my mom first because you know how some people are like, some shows I was like, I'll go to mom first and ask, and if it's a good idea, I'll go to dad after. Right. So I was telling her about it, and she was like, yeah, you could do this, and she was really encouraging me. And then she talked to Keelan about it, and he was like, yes, you can do this. And they gave me like the push and the motivation. So I am really looking forward to having this event.
All right. Thank you, Serena. So we go over to Keelan just to ask him one question as we wrap up the interview.
Yes.
So question to you, Keelan. What were your thoughts when you saw her pieces, when you first came when you had a discussion with Serena and you saw the pieces, what were your thoughts about it? And also leave, in summary, some motivating words to those who might be getting into the industry.
For sure. It was really refreshing and breathtaking to experience Serena the first time. You know, her mom told me about her. She said, Keelan, Serena is always drawing, always sketching, making all sorts of stuff, and I need some guidance and direction for her. And it was inspiring for me, you know, to see a young person really be able to tangibly express their inspiration. So I feel happy now to be able to see collection number 2 after being able to experience the first one at the launch of the House of Keys Foundation. And as I said to Serena yesterday, I noticed only great things can come from this, being able to start at such an early age and also be able to have the support of, let's say, your family and the folks around you, which is major for any artistic, creative child. This is it's inspiring. It is inspiring. And regarding leaving some sort of inspiration for persons listening, chase your passions, chase your dreams, and they will take you to the uttermost parts and ends of the world. I can share, I am presently in Stockholm, Sweden presently. And it is because of that said things, chasing dreams and chasing passions. You have no idea where it will lead you. So chase your dreams.
Thank you so much, Keelan, for those words of inspiration to those of our viewers looking on, young and young at heart. We also want to thank Miss Serena, my apologies, Serena Kellis Stevens, also known as Athena Sydney Liz, right, as her fashion name. That is what she has chosen, Keelan, right, for joining us this morning. You have your fashion show on the 26th of November at 5 p.m. at the Bell Garden Community Center. Yes, so look out for that. For our viewers just joining us, stay tuned as we continue, and I ask you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We would continue on with Miss Liana Alexander, who will tell us a little bit about the body walk.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch number 1, the building formerly occupied by Costa. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, building 1 and 2.
Inner Health, number 13B Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
So your car break down
Oh, no, not again.
and you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Youth Wednesdays and Tobago Updates Morning Show. You're bringing us here live here in Portmore, Scarborough. My name is Dwayne, and I want to continue the conversation for this morning surrounding the Down syndrome family. And this morning we have none other to have that discussion, Miss Liana Alexander. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thanks. Good morning to our viewing audience and listening viewers as well.
All right. Can you kindly tell us about yourself and about the Down syndrome family network?
Okay. So I am Liana Alexander. I'm a board member and I'm also the representative for the island of Tobago for the Down syndrome family network. I'm an educator and I work with students with inclusive and special education needs, and I advocate for our disability community.
Right. And so this organization is geared towards fostering awareness, inclusion for those persons that are differently abled. Yes.
Yes. So the Down syndrome family network started in 2012. And over the years, we would have partnered with Tobago. So Trinidad firstly, and then they came to Tobago in 2013. And we would have had a presence here until now, doing workshops for parents. We have our conference in March, World Down Syndrome Day. And October is Down Syndrome Month. So we have our body walk.
Right.
Right, so it's a lot. It's ongoing to push inclusion and ensure that persons with disabilities have a voice. Not only Down syndrome,
Yeah.
Down syndrome and other disabilities.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Why is this important for a society like Tobago? I mean, Trinidad is a big place, but why specifically to Tobago, given all its entities and the culture and everything?
Right. Let me first say this. It's always Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
And the Down syndrome family network would have ensured that Tobago. Oftentimes we think that Tobago is always left behind.
Right.
That is not the case with the Down syndrome family network. So I want to say that the organization started in 2012, and I want to talk about the body walk, right? So steps would have been taken in, so since 1995, the Down Syndrome Society would have started the body walk in the United States. And over the years, other countries would have adopted the body walk. So Trinidad and Tobago would have come on board and would have started in 2012 to take steps towards inclusion and an inclusive society. So as we would have grown, and we have persons with disabilities in our society. And now that persons have been educated and informed, we are now aware and we are sensitized towards the disability community. So we have the body walk to ensure that persons, can support these persons, right? We can support them. So when you do the body walk, you are actually saying, I am supporting you. So body meaning that you are walking with that person, you are taking that step to support that colleague, that student, that co-worker in your workplace who may have different abilities.
Right. So you said that this walk began in the United States. For Tobago, would this be its first stint, or there were several incarnations of this walk?
Right. So I'm happy that you asked. So this is our 10th body walk. And at first, the landscape would have changed over the years. So firstly, we normally would have our special schools, Happy Haven, School for the Deaf, Tech Folk, in the early stages. And then we would have extended, because remember, we are trying to ensure that we have an inclusive society. So we started including our primary schools, and now we have our early childhood center, and then we would have extended onto the workplaces. And let me say, we have a really, really good support system here in Tobago. I must say that, and I want to publicly thank the THA, the Division of Education, Division of Health, CAS. These are the organizations that really supports the body walk and ensure that the schools and the workplaces are coming out to support persons.
All right. So what about the theme? Tell us about the theme for this walk, and a little bit about the venue or the route that you guys are taking for this walk.
All right, so firstly, let me this is our body walk t-shirt, right? And
this is mine?
Yes, this is yours.
Thank you, guys. All right. Guys, I got a free t-shirt, and black
so I hope
always
you'll
looks
be on
good.
the walk. So inclusion matters.
Yes.
And the walk is going to be tomorrow. So tomorrow, the 9th of November, our walk is on from 1 p.m. But we would like to have, participants at the venue, which would be the Tambourine Square, from about 12:30. Yes. So most of the school children would be coming out at that time.
Right.
And one of the reasons why we do it during the week, because persons ask me, why not do it on a Sunday like Trinidad? Our culture in Tobago is a bit different.
Yes, the weekend is reserved.
Right, weekend is family and church.
Yes.
So we would have done our survey in the earlies and would have done our research, and we have more support from the schools because the buses are there to take the students from Happy Haven and School for the Deaf and stuff. And parents, it's easier for them to come from work and join us.
Yes.
So yes, we have the walk. And after the walk, then we have that grand event at the Esplanade where we have that networking sessions and, everybody have a really good time, and inclusion is very, very much present.
Yes. So who can participate? I know you mentioned the Happy Haven students. You mentioned the primary schools. What about secondary schools? Anybody at all?
Everybody can participate. And I want to say that registration is free for the people of Tobago.
Right.
So we have no barriers to persons taking the walk. And you register online, so the link would have been going around with the flyer for approximately a month, because we started our promotions Down Syndrome Month, which is October, the 1st of October. I think I was on the 29th of September with the promotions. And so you register, and once you register, you are part of the walk. We do that for numbers and for safety, reasons and stuff. And you can also purchase a t-shirt. So what we do, we advise persons to purchase a t-shirt, because all proceeds goes to the network to support, because all of our events in Tobago is free for the people of Tobago, with the kind support of our sponsors. So you purchase the t-shirt. T-shirts are only $80 for the adults, $60 for the children. Most of our supports come from the early childhood centers and our secondary schools as well. So every school would send a representative, 2 teachers and 10 students.
Right.
Yeah, and you come and you walk. It's 1 key. So from Tambourine Square, we have the routes. You come on Main Street, Castry Street, you come down and you continue on to the Esplanade. We have our Moko Jumbies dancer, Susan Nori. She's excellent. We have our music truck. And we have that, procession just at the pace of everyone. And we head to the Esplanade. It's about 20 minutes max to complete the 1 key.
Yes.
The 1 key walk.
All right. Thank you. I just want to put up the flyer there quickly for 2 minutes or a minute thereabout, just to rehash where persons can call and contact the network for those who are interested. The link would also be posted on the Tobago Updates page so that you could peruse it and share it for those who might be interested. So call 770-5208 and 293-6544 for those who want to reach out via phone call.
Let me just say this quickly. Registration is still open and we have hospitality for the participants who register. So juice, water is provided. KFC sponsors the school children a meal.
Right.
And we also have other persons from the different divisions that are participating, and they're going to be there displaying the services that they offer to the people of Tobago. We have some entertainment, and we really try to have a great time ensuring that inclusion matters in Tobago.
All right, thank you, Ms. Alexander, for coming here. It's always a pleasure to have you here, spreading awareness about Down syndrome, this body walk. I hope you guys support. Purchase your T-shirt. But before we go, I have one piece of information for those who want to improve your creative writing skills. They have classes, I believe, preps 3, 4, and 5, Sunday only. You get to choose your session, and it's 3 hours per session. Do we have the flyer up to post it? Yes, right? So the information is there for those who are interested, and the number to call is 266-5952 or 222-2082, right? So ask for Ingrid. Guys, this brings us to the end of Tobago Updates Youth Wednesday morning show. Remember to share the live. We go over to Tobago Notes and GMT with Candice Jackson. Have a great day.
And not so much about making a profit.
They have the role of fostering Tobago's small and medium-sized enterprises with growth support. And one such way the Business Development Unit does this is through Creative Tank. In this year's finals, 8 entrepreneurs had the chance to pitch their business models in only 3 minutes at the finals of the competition.
This year, because we've recognized the growth as well as the potential for growth in our tourism sector, we've expanded and focused on our tourism industry. This year, 17 participants would have entered the competition in the fields of mixology, recreation, tours, and promoters.
We want to see how much more creative you can be with your offerings and how you can now move your business in the most upscaled manner from where it is to where it needs to be. But most importantly, this is the THA giving a commitment that we are interested in supporting your business to the next level. What is that next level? That's what we are anxious to see from today's installation of the program.
But only one person could be named the Entrepreneur Extraordinaire of 2023. In the end, this presentation got the judges' nods of approval.
Nylon pool tours, evening cruise, jet ski, anybody?
Nah, not today, brother.
Alright. Nylon pool tours, jet ski, evening cruise, anything today?
Nah, we good.
Where is this here, boy? Ross, I always seen you here. Anything today? Nylon pool tours?
Nah, I actually real good and I already have a booking with All Things Tobago. I mean my booking online. All Things Tobago is a digital marketing tourism agency where we create a digital experience of what a true vacation in paradise should be like, and we share that with our audience. Now, not only do we create that digital experience, we would have create a community with different businesses located on the island, and we generate business for them and assist them in creating an elevated service.
One of the things that showed up here today was a crisis of confidence. People were incredibly nervous in front of the camera. And one of the things that we have to build as we move and make our way in the world is the opportunity to stand up and talk, to sell ourselves, to sell our business, to sell our idea, to sell who we are. And so as you're operating in the niche of the tourism space, this becomes even more important because you're communicating to people who don't know you, who know nothing about the island. And so you need a stronger communicative presence. And that will come from you having confidence in who you are, how you are representing the island, and all of that will flow. There is no doubt that all of the 8 people here today were technically competent for the niche categories in which they operated. But in terms of some of the general skills, building out the marketing, figuring out some of the other things that come along with that, those are the things that we need to work on.
The Entrepreneur Extraordinaire walked away with $20,000, taking the prizes for Most Innovative Business, All Things Tobago, Most Promoting Business, JT Salt Life, and Most Engaging Entrepreneur, Cleon McPherson. Awards were also distributed to winners in each category. Tavier James won in the category of Mixology, Alphalea Telesford Recreation, Gideon McKellar Tours, and Cleon McPherson Promoters. Creative Tank is hosted by the Business Development Unit of the Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago. On Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by B-Mobile. The Minority Council is calling for clarification on why Signal Hill Secondary School students did not receive funding to participate in the Sandfest competition finals. According to information circulating on social media, the Division of Education, Research and Technology committed to covering some of the costs to allow the students to take part in the competition in Trinidad. The students gathered at the port on Tuesday evening, hoping to board a ferry to Trinidad, but were then informed by a teacher that the funding did not come through for the trip. The teacher indicated that the division was missing some documentation from the school before the release of funds could be authorized. Up next, National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines expressed concern about a 16% arrest and charge rate for the 663 murders recorded between September 2022 and 2023. He attributed this to the use of high-powered firearms in recent crimes. Hines detailed government efforts to improve the response to crime, including enhancements in forensic operations and evidence recovery departments. He highlighted the importance of bolstering border security and implementing legislative measures to combat crime. And finally, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley clarified that his personal data was not compromised in the cyber attack on TSCT. The reported data belongs to a family member, and the information appears to be related to his TT government telephone bill account. He emphasized the importance of safeguarding data from falling into criminal hands, urging TSCT to treat this matter as a national security threat and handle it with professionalism. Meanwhile, Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez confirmed that no credible information about the Prime Minister's data being compromised and assured an independent investigation is ongoing. And that was the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Be Mobile. And viewers, now moving on, we're just going to get into a little bit of a public service announcement here, and just let me bring this up for you. So, just so you're aware, if you want to improve your comprehension and writing skills, and of course this is for I guess primary school's children, in record time, prep 3s, 4s, and 5s. On Sundays only, you get to choose your sessions, 3-hour sessions, and there's individual attention, qualified, trained, and experienced teacher, 36 years, teacher's diploma, child psychology diploma, a BSc in education, reading and language major, reading specialist, consultant, MED reading consultant, okay. So there's a variety of things that are available for you if you are very interested in this. So you can call the numbers at 266-5952 or 222-2082 and get connected with Ingrid. Ask for Ingrid for you to be a part of this training session. All right, so viewers, get into our program this morning. We are being joined by economist and political analyst, Dr. Vanish James, as we discuss the state of Tobago's economy. And a special good morning and welcome to you, Dr. James. How are you doing?
Morning, Candice. How are you?
I am great.
I'm doing good.
Now, let's get started. Well, Dr. James has been doing quite a lot of research recently when it comes to labor statistics within the country, especially when it comes to Tobago. And he has unearthed some very interesting data. And, you know, for one thing, we know that there's been a high level of employment within the THA and the government, any of the government, because unfortunately, that's just the way how our economy has been for some time. And some of that data indicated that in recent years, we have increased employment within the THA.
The share.
Well, I just would like you to get into the details of it.
The share, well, I think the main thing for us to do when we start here is to alert Tobagonians that the evidence we have from the CSO, the Central Statistical Office, is that the situation in Tobago continues to deteriorate from 2022 to 2023. We have had now 2 quarters of data coming in, the first and second quarter of 2023, on top of the data they supplied me for 2022, and all the evidence shows a continuing collapse of the Tobago economy. Now, feel good is one thing, but as my old lady used to say, drunk or sober, mind your business. You got to look at the evidence, look at the facts, and be alert to what is happening here. Now, this is important for the public to understand, because when the Minister of Finance presented his budget, he made the point quite specifically that he's been advised, presumably by the THA, that the Tobago economy has been recovering. And he also made the point that he expected that the developments going on in Trinidad would lead to development in Tobago. Now we have the evidence to check on both of those. He also made the point that the educational institutions of the country, including those in Tobago, are producing the quality of graduates we need to build a viable economy. we can check on all those, and when you look at the evidence, all three statements are wrong. And the people of Tobago are holding the bitter end of that stick, and we need to be thoughtful about it. Let me give you the first piece of evidence that should concern Tobagonians. In 2022, there were 31,200 jobs in the Tobago economy. And Trinidad supplied somewhere near 534,100 jobs. When you look in the first 2 quarters of 2023, what you find is that Tobago lost 200 jobs just in 6 months, a loss of 200 jobs.
And these jobs were in what sectors?
All over the economy. We can talk about the distribution if we want that detail, but this is across the economy. Tobago lost 200 jobs. And in the case of Trinidad and Tobago, the Trinidad economy gained 11,600 jobs. So you see what's false about the minister's statement. They're gaining jobs. We're losing jobs in the same period. Now, that's on the back of data about what is happening to our total labor force. In Tobago, in the same period, our labor force was, in 2022, our labor force was 32,000 persons, the whole pool of people available to work. 32,000 persons. And in the case of Trinidad, that was 562,600. Well, what did we see in the first 2 quarters? In the first 2 quarters, Tobago lost 300 persons from its labor force.
So declined by about 1%.
They're gone, yeah.
Yeah.
Either they drop out of the labor force or they migrate. Either they're discouraged and stop looking for work or they migrate. In the case of Trinidad, they gained 8,200 members in the labor force. So Tobago is going south, while Trinidad is going north. Opposite directions, completely contradicting whatever assurance the minister got from whoever informed him and his ministry on what's happening in Tobago. Now, what that is telling Tobagonians is you can't rely on the idea that improvement in Trinidad will translate to improvement in Tobago. And we've had 140 years of that experience.
Yes.
If you don't put proper policies in place in Tobago, feel good and old talk is one thing, and fancy statements. But if you don't put effective investment programs in place, this is the result you're going to get.
And then one of the things that you noted in your recent study is that there was a recovery happening in the economy in 2021.
Absolutely.
But in 2022, there appeared to be a decline.
Absolutely.
So I want you to just explain the data behind that a little bit.
That's clear evidence, both from the CSO and from the THA's Division of Finance. Even if the government here doesn't want to tell the public about it, the evidence is there for any concerned citizen to get. That's what I do. Go ask for it. The economy in Tobago, as I reported to you all before, collapsed in Tobago in 2022. The overall economy declined by 2%. The THA itself declined by 7% in terms of the value of output it produced. The construction sector completely collapsed under Farley's religious war against it. The quarry collapsed, 30-something%, 35, 36%, thereabouts. So banking collapsed 2.7%. Fruits and vegetables, 39, 38%. So when you look across the Tobago economy, what Tobagonians will find is in 2022, there was a broad-based collapse of the economy. And the point I'm making here this morning is that that collapse continued in the first and second quarter of 2023 by the evidence provided by the CSO. Okay? I don't think the Division of Finance produces quarterly data, but the CSO's monitoring of what's happening in the labor market is the official data on what's happening in the economy. And their data tells you the collapse in Tobago continues even though recovery is going on in Trinidad. That should trouble every red-blooded Tobagonian.
So what has happened? So we saw a decline in 2021, an increase in 2021, sorry. There's an increase in 2021, there was a decline in 2022. Now, we're not yet at the end of 2023, so I know that data is still outstanding, but from your...
But the warning signs are
from your
scary.
preliminary assessments, what are you seeing for 2023 and going into 2024?
Well, let me clarify, provide you a proper answer. If you're going to continue the recovery of 2021, it takes appropriate investment. The kind of economy we are operating here in Trinidad and in the wider Caribbean, that kind of economy doesn't just operate on market forces. It takes policy. Because of what I will point out to you about the state of the labor market itself, the quality of the workforce we have. So when you don't see a continuation of the recovery of 2021 in 2022, the normal explanation for that is either no policy interventions, flawed policy interventions, inadequate investment as a consequence, because it takes investment to continue, right? So either you stop the investment or you stop the private sector from investing. And so that's what the collapse of the construction sector, for example, tells you is happening. The investment program needed to keep the economy growing collapsed, and therefore the economy collapsed behind it. That's the fundamental issue. Now, that has consequences Tobagonians need to watch. And the warning signs are, to my mind, like hurricane coming. In 2022, 65% of the paid employees of Tobago were employed with government. In 2022, in just 2 quarters, that share increased, even while the labor force and total employment declining, and maybe because of it, that share increased to 74%. CSO data, this is not Division of Finance data. These are the official samples of the country, collecting the information on what's happening in the labor market. And this is the labor market component. This is not the whole economy. You're looking at what's happening to people working, seeking work, and so on. 74% of the paid employees. That, for me, is scary because it's saying we're doubling down on running a government economy in Tobago. Government economies don't carry you anywhere near what we call development. So what Tobagonians are playing with here is fire. And it's completely unacceptable for us to continue to depend on Trinidad and be running an economy of this kind. That's the paid employees. Now, if you look in Trinidad, what you see is that the private sector in Trinidad accounted for 67% of the jobs down there. In Tobago, the private sector accounted for 26% of the jobs in the first 2 quarters of this year. And that was a decline from 35% in 2022. Shouldn't that scare Tobagonians?
And it's just very interesting. Tobago went up in terms of government employment and Trinidad went down in terms of government.
And the private sector in Tobago share declining. So the private sector is weakening rather than strengthening relative to government.
And we're going to get more into that conversation when we come back after the break. So viewers, please don't go anywhere.
So wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people.
You know, who would I ever believe Jessica could take care of a child,
I know,
all right? I'm a kinship foster parent to my nephew Malik.
Papa, you remind me of my grandmother, you know, when she used to take care of my cousins.
If I didn't step in, I don't know where he would have ended up. Plus, I get support from Children's Authority, training, and counseling.
But Jessica, you not married?
That doesn't matter once you have a safe home and you're related to the child. You're good.
So they just gave money to do this?
Yeah, they do give me some money.
So, Auntie, you can buy alarm I gave you for me?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Malik, but that money's to take care of you. Okay, smubble up, yes.
I will not try. Mommy, you can buy
No.
Wait, I didn't even finish my sentence.
About Lamborghini, you can get lamb stew for lunch.
Auntie Jessica could only come when you come in, because all them does do is talk people business.
Malakaya Malikole going on the bed.
But mommy, the boy don't even live here.
Yeah, go to your bunkers.
What? Bunkers? Where's that?
I think I'm getting pretty good at this.
The Division of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development has relocated its Crown Point office to Glen Road in Scarborough to better serve you, our clients. Our main office is located at the corner of Glen Road and Glen Road Branch Number 1, the building formerly occupied by Coastal. Our grant and electrical inspectorate services can be accessed at Number 2 Montessori Drive in Glen Road, Building 1 and 2.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. On to Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversation this morning with economist and political analyst Dr. Vanish James as we discuss what's happening in the Tobago economy. Now, and of course, you know, Dr. James has been someone who forms all of his discussions based on data that he either gets from the CSO as well as data that he does from his own research and so on. And one of the things that he highlighted, and we've been discussing this morning, is that there has been a drop in the economy for 2023 on 2022. We saw an increase in 2021. And we also see it where the labor market is concerned because we lost 300 jobs in the labor market. However, interestingly enough, the government sector, the labor increased from 65% to about 74%. So, you know, when we have...
Let me just correct the fact you mentioned there for the public. We lost 300 members from the labor force, but 200 jobs, actually. So that's a little different. Those who are looking for work reduced. Either they migrate or they stop.
Right.
300 of them. 200 persons with jobs before now have lost jobs. For whatever reasons, we can survey to find out why they lose their work or whatever the case might be. But we know for a fact that we lost 200 jobs in the labor force in the first 2 quarters of 2023.
All right. Now, let's get into the impact of this situation where we're seeing, despite the messaging coming forth from the current executive council, where they're saying that we need to reduce the amount of people that's working within the THA because, of course, we know the wage bill is quite significant. It takes up quite a lot of the money that is allocated to the THA. And then there's a need to build out the private sector. But what is the impact of there being an increase in jobs within the THA, within government services, I should say, as a whole, because this would also include central government, police, etc. But what's the impact of that in terms of that goal of bolstering the private
what
sector?
does it say about the dream? I mean, you may have an executive council that says too many people working for the THA. That's all well and good to say that, but you don't appoint a government to be to write lamentations. You write them to come up with proper policies to achieve the goal of strengthening the private sector so that less people go to the central government and the local government, the THA government, to look for work. Why people bundle up in the government is because of the evidence you're getting on the private sector. The private sector is weak and weakening. To get that to change, you have to have strong policies to reverse the decline in trends in the private sector. Let me give you a piece of evidence about the state of the private sector by looking at the construction sector, which was one of the big collapsing sectors in 2022. In the first 2 quarters of 2023 in Tobago, the construction sector on the CSO's count lost 200 jobs. In Trinidad, the construction sector created 6,900 jobs. So we're doing something wrong with our investment program so that the construction component of our investment program is weakening. That's a major indication that policy on the island is inappropriate. Maybe it's a dream to get the workers to work in the private sector. Maybe that's a great dream. That is a good goal. But what you're doing to achieve it is a whole different discussion. And the evidence is telling you that between January of 2022 and now, whatever you're doing has been wrong. That's what this evidence really is saying. We've had 4 quarters in 2022 and 2 additional quarters in 2023 of collapse. And anywhere in the world, including in Trinidad, that happens. The government is held to account. Here in Tobago, where we continue to refuse to drink chocolate when we wake up rather than smell coffee. You've got to wake up as a citizen and pay attention to what is happening. Drunk or sober, mind your business. And you can't blame Vanus James for telling the truth. I am bringing the evidence. You interpret what is happening. And if you want my help, I can tell you what is happening as an economist. But my first responsibility as an economist here is to bring the evidence, and let me alert you to the fact. If I don't bring it, the public servants can't do it under their secrecy laws. They can't do it on their own. The government has to do it. And the government has refused to do it. They didn't do it in the budget. It's happening now. The CSO has brought out the data. They sent it for me last week. As soon as I get it, I rush and send it to the media. Nobody else. If I ain't live here, how you gonna know? You follow me, Candice? Yes. If I don't live here as a professional economist, how will Tobagonians know these things?
And I want to stick a pin right there because the construction sector is part of the reason why we're seeing this decline. But I want you to speak a little bit more as to why the construction sector is so important and related to government, the private sector, all of that working together.
Any serious effort you're going to make to develop an economy, put a proper investment program in place, is first and foremost going to activate your construction sector. If you want to develop your school system, you have to build plant. If you're going to develop your hotel industry, you have to build a new plant, and so on. If you want to create infrastructure to ensure that people get access, movement is fluid and free, construction. The construction sector is a huge leading indicator of what is happening, as we say in economics, a leading indicator of what is happening to your economy. So when it's collapsing, that is telling you your investment program is going south, right? And in the case of Tobago, the construction sector last year collapsed directly because of the flawed policies and the foolhardy policies of Farley and the THA on the matter of the P&M contractors. When you accuse all of them of being as though you're running a church. You're running an economy. And when you win the government for everybody, not for your party alone. So when you see the P&M contractors in there. You can't behave as though they don't belong in Tobago. You have to gather them together and say, listen, everybody come. We're going to govern for everybody. Under my government, things ain't going to run like in the last government. But I still need you to be investing here. Tobagonians still need you to be investing here. So you can't run the THA as though the P&M doesn't belong in Tobago. Rowley might run the country in Trinidad as though the UNC don't belong down there. But in Tobago, if you want to develop, Tobago has not yet caught up. The evidence I'm gathering for this, I'm writing a chapter for a book published by the University Press. And the evidence I'm gathering for you is that the level of living and the level of the performance of the economy in Tobago today has not yet caught up with where Trinidad and Tobago was in 1962. Think about that. We're that far behind. So when you're trying to develop a space like that, you can't develop it for your half. You have to, it's one of the reasons I had campaigned against the PNM. You have to govern for everybody. You have to set up the system so PNM people feel legitimately a part of the discussion, just like your people. When you're governing for your half, that's a sure route to this data that we're picking up in.
And are you seeing anything changing? And I'm just talking about from the messaging that's coming from the Executive Council. We had a retreat, they had a retreat last week where they talked about, increasing the construction sector because I guess they are probably understanding that the construction sector is important and there needs to be something happening there. Like, are you seeing anything to give you confidence that they're going to have some policies or make some decisions that would change the trajectory that we are on right now?
Well, I am a scientist, so talk is cheap for me. It's the policies that you put in place that will tell the real story. And those policies can't be made in a retreat. They can't be made in town hall meetings. For years now, I'm trying to tell Tobagonians, to make good policy here in Trinidad, in Jamaica, anywhere in the world you look, where you see good policies made, it's made collectively. In when I used to work in the UN, I would say we. We in the UN describe as joint decision making, meaning you have to set up the government in a way that allows everybody to participate. When you go to a town hall meeting, your friends come. Those who like you come. Those who don't like you, if they come in to spy. When you set up the government properly, everybody gets the opportunity to come to the hearings, bring their data. You can't carry data to a town hall meeting. They bring their reports, their documents, and they bring their explanations. They get 10 and 15 minutes to talk. You can't do that in town hall meetings. You have to set up the government properly so that the work of policy making is professional work, not political campaigning. You have 4 years. You could campaign, you go nowhere. You want to develop Tobago, you have to set up the government so the 4 years is used in making sensible policies to grapple with the kind of difficult economy that we are operating here in Tobago. An economy that could only move with well-informed policy. If you do it on a political basis, you are under-informed in your policy. You never get the kind of information you really need, and you never know where good information will come from, so you gotta hear from everybody. So I am not persuaded that a retreat is the tool that you're going to need if you're going to move an economy like this forward. And I guarantee you that when we look at the data for the rest of this year, after the CSO collects it, we will see continuing decline, just like I predicted about the first 2 quarters. And the reason for it is the way we're doing things. We may have good intentions, but incompetence is incompetence regardless of your intentions. It's good policy based on good structures, good decision-making systems, and inclusive decision-making. Let me repeat. When you win, you have to bring the PNM to the table. You have to bring the UNC to the table. Bring all the parties, east, west, north, south. You want development in Tobago, come let we talk. and set up your government in such a way that all of us get a fair chance to bring our thoughts to the process. Diaspora, foreign investors, Trinidad investors, the government in Trinidad, everybody must be able to come to your processes and participate. If you don't do that, I guarantee you what you will get is flawed policy and economic failure, and that's what the evidence is showing.
Now, I want you to juxtapose that with what's going on with Carnival. What we just came out of the Tobago Carnival, we have the private sector reporting that it was very good. In some places, their sales were fivefold of what they used to, and so on. They all seem very excited about that. I want you to put that in context.
Well, that obviously has a simple meaning. It doesn't have a developmental meaning. I mean, if you're in the bottom of your barrel and you're stuck there and somebody throw down some bread for you to eat, that you're happy, but you're still in the bottom of the barrel. What is happening here is that we're failing to understand how to use the Carnival industries to anchor a development process in Tobago. Carnival, as we are organizing it here, is a very import-intensive activity. And the more import-intensive it is, the less impact it will have on development in Tobago. So when you come, say, to the hotels, everything you consume, you import. You import your food, you import your wine, you import everything. The only thing you don't import, you import your beds, everything. The only thing you don't import is the individuals who are going to be serving you in there. If that is your situation, when you're investing to develop Carnival, you have to look to the other phase of other aspects of the industry, the non-import aspects. Economists will say, if you're doing it, it must create demand for your local foods. It must create demand for local education. It must create demand for local skills, local crafts, local creativity, right? You need linkages, as we say, being built to the rest of the economy. The impact on the local economy is a product of those linkages. If you import in voice and you import in case, the band and everything else, all the 12 million you spend will go to them. They pocket it and they go on to Trinidad, zero impact in Tobago. So when Tobagonians are expressing happiness, that's good for the event and the moment, but it will have no long-term effect, and that's the evidence you have in front of you. From last year, we had a carnival, right? This year, we have a carnival. The economy is still collapsing because we're not doing the things needed to build our capacity to drive the process. If you go to the Miami Carnival, as I have been, you see a completely different operation. They're still importing Carnival, but they set up the venue in such a way that you have to come there and buy American stuff. When you go in there, go South Beach, all those places, you're buying stuff they import from China, but you're buying stuff they make in America. That's the difference between what we're doing here, importing a whole industry from Trinidad, importing the operators, we import the music, even the calypsos. I mean, we have a long tradition of having first-class calypsonians. Where is the program to continue the development of Carnival, calypso creating capabilities, to say nothing of our own variants of mass, our own history that we're telling, and so on. That's what Mac Williams and those people were doing when they invented Carnival. We have to be extremely careful not to go for hype. We are 50, 60 years behind the country in Tobago, and we had better be thoughtful about what we're doing here, as we're looking at another 1,000 years depending on and begging Trinidad.
All right, well, we'll get into that conversation a bit more, but we got to take a quick break. So viewers, please don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
To wake up and hear my neighbor, 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Hey, hello guys, welcome. Come have a seat. this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection. Now exclusively available at Standard.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can't beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at the Rotisserie Factory.
So your car break down
Oh, no, not again. Oh.
and you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance. That's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa McCall Group.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. And viewers, before we continue with our conversation this morning, just want to let you know that if you wanted to get classes for your standard 3, 4, and 5 students, Miss Ingrid is available for you on Sundays only for 3-hour sessions. And she gives you individual attention. So you can contact her at 266-5952 or 222-2082 for more information. All right, so moving on to our conversations for this morning, we are continuing with Dr. Vanna Strange, economist and political analyst, as we talk about what is going on with our economy here in Tobago. And of course, if you've been listening, he presented some data to show that there has been a decline in our economy, especially for 2022 and into 2023. Now, there's also a issue with what's going on with our education here in Tobago, and you presented some data that shows that it's not at the same levels that it was.
Not what it should be, not good enough if you want to develop. Look, Tobagonians have to remember my aunt's dictum: drunk or sober, mind your own business. Don't let politicians mind your business for you. You mind your own business. We have to know who we are, where we are, what kind of people we are, so we know what we have to change if we're going to move our society forward and create a better future for the next generation. We're in trouble with this one already. In 2022, 9,700 persons working in Tobago had what we were occupied in what we call elementary occupations. Those are occupations you get when you have what we call level 1 education. Level 1 education means primary school, you maybe pass through secondary school, you ain't pass nothing, and so on. Those basic types of education. level 1 according to the International Labour Organization. That's how they classify them in the CSO, following ILO rules. That's 9,700 at the end of 2022. At the end of the first 2 quarters of 2023, that's 6 months later, that number increased to 10,400, right? In elementary occupations, meaning the people with those jobs have little education. Now that has to worry you, because what it means is you have a lot of low productivity workers, and if you want to develop your society, productivity is the key. Now, in Trinidad, by comparison, the numbers are 18%, and it increased to 19% in the first 2 quarters. So you see how far behind we are, right? You're talking 31% in Tobago, and it increased to 34%. Now, if you're going to deal with that and consider what that means in terms of your development possibilities, you have to look at this education, the state of education of the workers, not just the workforce, the workers. And in Tobago in 2022, 62% of our workers had 1 to 4 secondary passes or less, primary education and so on. What does that mean? You remember when your school system say you pass 5 subjects, that's the standard of good education. 5 subjects with English and maths. But even if you ignore the English and maths, at least 5. So when you're working a labor force in which 62% of the persons have 1 to 4 or less, meaning none, you tell yourself you're in big trouble. I was just looking at the Jamaica data the other day. That's the same situation, 60-something%. But in the first 2 quarters of 2023, that share increased to 73%. So we're going in the wrong direction. We need to be reducing that percentage and increase the shares with level 2 and level 3, and especially level 3 and level 4 qualifications if we want to do the innovations and build a viable economy here. If you look in Trinidad, the situation is bad down there, but not as bad. 55% increasing to 58%. So they need, that they're grumbling all the time about needing to diversify the economy down there. So they're not out of the woods, but we're in far worse shape. So what does that tell you? Well, what it says, you look for what is happening to your level 3 and level 4 graduates, those with the kinds of technical skills to help you with your innovation function, to help you with your governance function, to help you do production efficiently. In 2022, we had 6,300 of those kinds of workers, well-qualified workers in Tobago. In the first 2 quarters of 2023, that number declined dramatically, if you're looking at the CSO data, to 4,002, meaning people leaving. When they can't find the opportunities they're looking for, they pack the bags and they go about their business. And that's an old experience in Tobago. We all know that. We all live in families that operate like that. If you look in the case of Trinidad, those figures are, you're seeing evidence in the case of Trinidad that people are leaving Trinidad and Tobago and going abroad. So Trinidad and Tobago is one of those high migration of high skills experiences. But what does this tell you? What it tells you is, if you really understand how you grow your economy, you will know this. You either grow it by raising productivity or growing the employment of persons with high-level skills. When you lose people with high-level skills, that has been Tobago's experience since me a little boy. When you're losing people with high skills, your standard of living stagnates and doesn't grow. Your economic productivity stagnates and does not grow. And the people who leave, they go to Trinidad or they go abroad and help their standard of living to grow. So what's happening? the gap is widening between you and Trinidad and you and the rest of the world. So Tobago has to be careful to look at these figures. We can't govern and ignore them, and you can't have a government that is refusing to tell the public. This is the situation we are in. And let me warn Tobagonians that this has grave consequences. When you give the government in Trinidad, as the minister said, the impression that things are booming in Tobago, what does he believe? Well, I give you $300 million worth of development funding in 2022, and that caused a boom. So why do I need to give you $1 billion? You're doing good enough. If you give the minister that impression, you could get a sense that these are ordinary human beings down there too. They'll get the false impression and they'll think that they're doing good with their budgeting. If you don't go to them with compelling evidence of the facts on the ground and evidence that we have to team up as islands in order to move the country forward, by moving the Tobago economy forward, you get the kind of budgetary recommendations that the minister put forward. And that's not simply a matter of Trinidadians hating Tobagonians. We have to open our minds and begin to think of the need for Tobago to provide proper leadership. Bring the facts, bring proper interpretation of the facts, and let's shape policy on evidence-based evidence, not guesswork, not old talk, not sweet talk. You can't run Tobago as though you're running it with a smart man. You've got to run it with a competent, technically skilled pool of people out of the THA.
Mm-hmm. Now, I want to put that against that something that the Prime Minister said recently, that yes, even though Tobago needs some more self-governance and so on, and of course that situation is in the Parliament and all of that, but as it is currently, there are still things that the THA can do. Are you seeing the THA in its current form utilizing the powers that it has to its maximum ability?
Well, the evidence speaks for itself. You don't need my opinion for that. The people of Tobago could form a judgment about that from the evidence I'm presenting. And if you remember, this is public evidence. Any citizen could access CSO for the data. A lot of people, when I come to the media and present it, call me, write me, send emails asking for the data. I share it liberally.
Yes.
The public can know for itself what is happening. And if the Prime Minister says what he said, you could look to see if he's talking the truth. And the evidence in front of you is that what the THA has been doing in the last 2 years is the wrong thing. It could only be the right thing if it's generating progress. It inherited an economy that was beginning to recover. In 1 year, that economy turned around, and we are seeing the evidence now that that turnaround and decline continues. So something is being done in the wrong way in the THA. Now, you don't have to be ashamed to tell your people that is what is going on. You have to have the courage to say so, and the skills and the wit and the honesty to bring all of us together, to let's work out what is to be done. And all of us includes PNM people. I hold no brief for the PNM. I remember I campaigned to move them. I hold no brief for Rowley. I don't think he understands what's going on in the country, to say nothing of Tobago. But I think we here in Tobago are the ones seeking development. And we need to think about what we're doing. And the one thing you can't win on is divisive government. To get Tobago to move forward, you have to unify Tobagonians, and then you have to unify Trinidad and Tobago around one proper agenda. And that is not what is happening, and that's why the collapse continues. And we shouldn't fool ourselves about it. Vanessa James is not bringing you his own construction of the information. This is the CSO data. I'm just quoting the evidence. I'm writing a chapter interpreting the evidence, but I'm not interpreting the evidence here. I'm just giving you the evidence. And I'm saying if you read this evidence as just an ordinary mind, you don't need no PhD for that. That evidence is telling you that the collapse of 2022 is continuing. And you open your eyes and you will see nothing sensible has yet been done to reverse it. So it will continue through 2023 and run into 2024, and the rubber will meet the road in election terms at that time. Don't forget.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, but Dr. James is often on with us. So this is a conversation that we will be continuing. So I want to thank you so much, Dr. James, for being on with us and for giving us your expert opinion on the economy.
Expert evidence.
And expert evidence.
Tell you the truth.
And expert evidence. All right, yes, viewers. So thank you for staying with us, and I hope you enjoyed this morning's program. But we are not done here in Tobago Updates yet, because at 10 o'clock we have brunch coming up for you, so you want to stay tuned for that. See you then.
The energy filled the sky.